सेव किया था ना?
मैं सिर्फ इसलिए गया था क्योंकि उसने मुझे कॉल किया. That's it. But listen though.
Save it for someone else.
जिंदगी में सेव करना जरूरी है, मगर जब बात पैसों की हो, सिर्फ सेविंग से काम नहीं चलेगा. इक्विटी म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट कीजिए और अपने सेविंग्स को आगे बढ़ने का मौका दीजिए.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Hello and welcome. India does not hold bilateral relations with Kosovo, a Muslim-majority territory in Europe that declared itself independent from Serbia in 2008. However, trade between India and Kosovo appears to be continuing to take place, as evident in the recent inauguration of an India-Kosovo trade office in Delhi last month. Now, to understand this very peculiar situation, I have with me today former Prime Minister of Kosovo, Ramush Haradinaj, who also served in the Kosovo Liberation Army. We also have Anil Mishra, Chairman of India-Kosovo Chamber of Commerce, or the IKCOC, which is the first trade association of its kind formed in 2014 in Pune. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So my first question I will address to the former PM, Mr. Haradinaj. I'd like to start with you, if I may. You served as Prime Minister of Kosovo twice, first from 2004 to 2005, and then from 2017 to 2020. And your country has been recognized by the US and over 100 other countries as well. But there are some like China, Russia, including India, who have not recognized your country. In fact, Kosovo also plans to, if I'm not wrong, place a bid to join the EU. So given all these developments, why do you think countries like India have refused to recognize Kosovo?
First, I want to present to you our good feelings of our own people. Kosovo people likes India. They have a high sympathy for India and respect. So we would like, as a nation, as a people, to have good relations with India and as well to be recognized. Is it true that we are a very small nation, young and small nation in Europe, but as well very dynamic? And we hope that our dynamism would be as well attractive for India as well to expand economically and trade in our region. So this is great news to see what already is happening on trade relations. And hopefully these trade relations will ties us or brings us together and one day as well to be recognized by India. I'm very thankful to Mr. Anil Mishra for his engagement in continuity. And I believe the day will come that Kosovo's people and India's people will be in a best relation possible.
Right. And I also wanted to ask you, just to probe the question a little bit more, if I may. India has strong historical links with Serbia, and before that also Yugoslavia. In fact, it was Jawaharlal Nehru and the former president of Yugoslavia, Joseph Tito, who were among the co-founders of the non-aligned movement, or NAM. So do you think these historical ties also play into why maybe countries like India have not recognized Kosovo?
The former Yugoslavia was a country of many nations, not just Serbia. So Slovenia, Croats, and everybody else like North Macedonia, Montenegro, Serbia, and ourselves too. So we believe that's not an obstacle. The fact of previous good relations with Yugoslavia could as well continue with good relations with all former members of former Yugoslavia, in this case with us too. So we hope that this tradition of relation with former Yugoslavia to continue with us too, because we as well are part of that heritage.
Okay. And now, Mr. Mishra, if I can address this question to you, just so we understand a little bit more about how trade has been continuing between the two populations in India and Kosovo. So recently, we've seen the setting up of a trade association, the IKCEO, or the India-Kosovo Economic Commerce office in Delhi last month. And this is, as per my report that I wrote on this last month, this is an independent trade body. It's independent from the Indian government. And I know that this is the second of its kind. Of course, IKCOC, of which you are the chairman, was the first of its kind to be initiated in 2014. So just explain to me, how is it that these trade bodies are coming up? What is their purpose and how are they existing despite the lack of bilateral ties between Kosovo and India?
Well, thank you, Pia. The situation between India, when we are talking about the trade, like Kosovo is a young country, and we just and it is strategically, it is very well placed, and I think it is suitable for Indians very well. For one reason that the how you say when we talk about the environment of trade or environment of doing business, if you see the datas, I think Kosovo is the 15th number of ease of doing business in the world. I mean, that is the independent bodies, they have indexed it. Now, the Balkan region was totally untouched. I don't know what was the reason when it comes on the trade, but it is a opening door for. See, it is not only the Kosovo. Kosovo is a kind of bridge. It is a kind of. It gives a you can get into the Europe, you can get into the Balkans. Kosovo has a free trade agreements with the Balkans and also with the Europe. So EU. So it is one of the best placed. And since the Indian economy is rising and people are there, they're opening up, they're going out. There are a lot of acquisitions happening outside of India. So I think it is one of the best place and suitable for Indians to do business over there. Coming to the point, the businesses between India and Kosovo. Now, India and Kosovo businesses are happening, but it is happening via the other countries like Turkey or Albania, or there are some traders, they are reaching it their own. Our main purpose of having this platform was to bring economic ties between India and Kosovo together, so that we can work better and directly. For example, like if Tatas, they want to sell their car in Kosovo, they cannot do. They have to sell it to Italy, and it has to come via Italy. Or for example, Mahindra cars, and there are so many examples, right? But the main
these
problem.
Trade offices try to, these independent trade offices try to ease that process of trade or export of goods?
If you ask me honestly, I had been trying hard to bring the businesses in Kosovo, but I was always having an obstacle of the diplomacy between India and Kosovo, because it doesn't make the things very easy. We Indians, we are trying to be a 5 trillion economy in coming days. We cannot neglect this kind of situations. China has China has not recognized Kosovo yet, but they have the offices in the trade offices in Kosovo. Russia has a trade office in Kosovo. So we should think in economics way. We cannot close it. We need to make the things free, where the Kosovars, they can travel to India. I mean, they are not able to travel to India. So how you think it is a big hurdle for me or for the platforms like us?
That's actually an interesting point. Yeah. That's actually an interesting point, if you don't mind me interrupting. It seems to be that countries like Russia and China, which still don't recognize Kosovo, at least allow the entry of people from there into their countries. But it doesn't seem to be the same with India. In fact, in 2018, there was a Kosovan boxer who was not allowed entry into a tournament in India because the Indian government did not issue her a visa. So it's not just business all types of all people from Kosovo do not get entry into India. So explain to me why that is happening with India, whereas it doesn't seem to be happening with countries like China and Russia.
I think, sorry,
No,
this was the question to me.
Yeah, no, I would like as well to add to this, if possible. It's true, actually, that China hasn't recognized Kosovo, but they had a diplomatic presence here. I mean, it's a consulate. So not just trade, but diplomatic too, actually in level of an ambassador in our country. And they are open for all economic exchanges. So Chinese are very open for every economic exchanges. We would like to have you as a partner, as a business partner, a trade partner. We would like to work with you, not just when it's Kosovo's market. We are, as a geography, in the center of our region and very well tied with highways. So Kosovo, it's in a way very logistically well-based for trade. So we hope that India, in this case, I hope Prime Minister Modi and Minister Jaishankar will one time treat us as a partner and as a friend. So allows us not just to trade, but allows us to travel to India and as well make it easy for Indian investors or business partners to do easy business with Kosovo. So this is something very of high interest, I believe.
Right. So Mr. Mishra, I wanted to ask you also, since you do business in Kosovo and you've set up the IKCOC, what are the sectors that business people from India and Kosovo are involved in?
Say the sectors what Kosovo government is promoting over there. For example, the agriculture. There is a mining sector which will be very interesting for the Indian partners. There are the manufacturing, because I have met so many people here. So there are a lot of opportunities in terms of agriculture. I told you about the manufacturing. And the trading is one of the things which can be, we can enhance that. Yes, that is the one thing. Unfortunately, in Kosovo, the import is, the import ratio is very high. And manufacturing, the government is trying to build it. And we want to build Kosovo, being a partner.
And my hope will be as well, once if I'm back in job, so running my country, it will be a priority for me to reach Indian government institutions and as well trade partners, to reach them, to make sure that relations, Kosovo, India, will be in a level that we deserve as people, because let me just again repeat, Kosovo's people have high sympathy for India and as a nation and as well as a brand. So here you are very highly respected. So we would like to have good relations together.
If we can just also come back a little bit to the trade aspect, I mean, you would know this better than most.
Sure.
If you were to estimate what is the sort of volume of trade between the populations in Kosovo and India? I know India and Serbia's bilateral trade is about 100 million US dollars as of last year. Is it less than that? Is it a little more than that?
Right now, I mean, if we talk about the trade volume, it is negligible. But as I say, that the Kosovo can be, it can give a springboard effect, right? The inbuilt system.
Could you put a figure to that?
No, figure, you mean to say, you want to know about the volume between Kosovo and India? Yes. No, it is negligible. I mean, there are very few private players. They are not even recognized themselves. So we can say that, sorry.
Yeah, and as well, those figures are not enhanced because it's done through the second and third address. So it's not directly bilateral because of lacking the possibility of traveling, not being able to travel. So a lot is happening through second or third hand. So it's not directly bilateral trade. So
Right,
this is the efforts of Mr. Isa, who's doing to come to the day that we do bilateral trade and partnering in business. I believe then we can really calculate I would say, the figures of trade, bilateral trade, and I believe those figures will be of importance because there is a lot, not just agriculture, mining, but we as well are consumers. And we know your economy has a lot of products that are of a very good quality and they are worldly recognized, but we don't have them in the market. So there is no in Kosovo market your products.
If one day and if soon that the India-EU FTA, for which the talks just resumed, I think in June, July this year, if that goes through, do you think recognition, India would be more keen or maybe a little more inclined to recognize Kosovo?
If you ask me,
Kosovo is, of course, not in the EU. It is looking to make a bill to join, make a bid to join the EU. But regardless of that, how do you think Kosovo will factor into that?
This is the geopolitical question. Probably Mr. Ramush can answer better than me. But yes, on the when it comes on the trade front, I don't think it is going to. See, that once we have any trade agreements between the European Union and India, then probably it will dilute, the importance of Kosovo. But again, it is not about, the free trade agreements. It is not about. It is a center point. It is centrally located. The labor is very cheap. The properties are very cheap. The production cost is as good as India. And I know so many people from India, they are selling their products, engineering products or any other products to Europe. They are going to save a lot of money in shipment and logistics. But the recognition is another part. The trade is another part. Recognition is a totally geopolitical issue. And my personal view on this is, I don't know, why we have closed our eyes towards Kosovo.
That's actually my next question as to what could be the reasons behind India's reluctance to recognize Kosovo. And for this, I would direct it at the former PM. So last year in an interview, the Kosovo president, Osmani, she requested India to recognize her country, adding, and I quote, "Kosovo is not Kashmir." So do you think the Indian government's reluctance to recognize Kosovo might have something to do with the fact that there are fears that it could draw parallels with Kashmir?
First of all, we respect India and its policies globally. They are very respected by us. So we believe our relations, Kosovo, India, being recognized would help just to add to your values. So our interest is to join the global family. We are very happy with our ties with US, with EU, but we would like as well to be in the family with you. So we don't we don't accept any analogy to other situations. It's sui generis Kosovo's case. It's well accepted like this by international justice, international court. There is none of similarities. So I don't want to mention any other situations, but we would like to join you, to join your values, to work together, and to improve our world, our belonging. So please, yes, we would please India to recognize Kosovo and to integrate us in the values and in the family that you belong.
I would direct the same question to Mr. Mishra. What do you think? Does Kashmir play a factor?
There was one writer, I think he was writing some some phrases like that, and it was picked up from there when he says K to K. But everybody can have their own analogy. According
But
to
this
me,
was
Kashmir.
the president of Kosovo who said this in an interview with an Indian media outlet last October. She's the one who said, please recognize Kosovo. Kosovo is not Kashmir, or Kashmir is not Kosovo.
Kashmir is a very different issue, and I think India has resolved it. And this cannot be any kind of ghost behind, any kind of our activities when it comes on recognizing any country. Because everything has its own dynamic. Kashmir has its own dynamic. Kosovo has its own dynamic. I mean, we cannot connect these two things at all. I mean, I don't agree with at all. I don't agree. When it was the later was when the recognition was sought. I mean, I think it was the American ambassador. They requested India in the time of independence of Kosovo in 2008, and the reply was, I think it was Mr. Menon, and he replied to against that there are couple of factors why the India cannot recognize Kosovo, and the Kashmir was not an issue in that. Kashmir was never been an issue for recognition of Kosovo, not at all. I don't agree with.
Right.
It's same for us when we follow you and your dynamics. Once again, we have no any other goal than to join our relations, our ties, our friendship based on your values. So there is no other idea, no other story. So we see only India. We don't see any other story. We don't deal with any other story. So, and we appreciate actually your role globally, what you're doing. So this is for India will be another friend actually in the globe, but in Europe as well. As mentioned before, we are in FTA relations with you, but we have very good ties and relations with many other nations, actually, including with US and with others. So in this situation, India will be a winner because would have another friend globally, a very young market. Some of the markets in Europe are at that level that it's very difficult to operate there anymore. But this is new economies, emerging economies. So we are very open to investment and to partnering.
All right.
Okay, that's all I have for you today, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me. I must say this was actually a very interesting discussion. I'm personally very interested in this topic. And thank you for taking out the time today.
Thank you very much. Wishing you the best and to your nation. Wishing you the best.